Sustainability to me is actually to have futuristic view and for the human viability. And actually sustainability, so-called sustainable development, is not necessary if we do not have the present-day predicament, continuous production and acceleration of changes, etc. This modern tendency of expanding, modern tendency of more material-centered lifestyle. This tendency has necessitated the idea of sustainable development. We need to share our resources with the future generations. We have to develop ourselves mentally and spiritually so that we can educate ourselves, we can cultivate ourselves to understand what's going on in the world and how can we cope with the existing predicament. So this idea of sustainable development is how to relate past to the present and present to the future. And in order to relate, probably we need society-specific culture, diverse society-specific cultures. We cannot rely on one single culture or one single civilization. We people are very, very diverse. Therefore, each society will have to respect its own culture more and to cultivate the culture for the sake of future viability. In that sense that I'm suggesting the paradigm shift, that is enrichment of the diverse society-specific cultures. There is no such thing as a concrete method. Probably we can think of so-called methodology. And methodology is one important methodology is educational methodology. We will have to have our children to think more about our own values, our own culture, and how the culture was generated, and what kind of conditions the culture was generated. So actually, we have to recombine the disciplines so that we can have better perspective about what's going on. If you are viewing only from the economic viewpoint, you miss a lot of things. You cannot see. But if you combine all these disciplines into your mind, instead of just putting different kind of cases, memorizing economic things here, physical concept here, etc., it doesn't really merge. You have to digest whatever coming in, digest on your knowledge base. And then there will be new idea coming out, more holistic idea coming out, much greater comprehension of what's going on may be generated. I like to talk about the good scenario first. Good scenario means that if many people increasingly becoming more concerned about themselves at the same time, other people around them. That is to say, if we relate to each other much more, and we are very sincere about maintaining our human subsistence on this earth. If people move in that direction gradually, and that means that the sustainability conscious way of life. If many people participate in this kind of way of life, then 50 years later, we will have much more comfortable. We will not be materially richer, but we will be more mentally and more culturally richer and much happier than just chasing materials, money, etc. And if we continue on this line, and that means that we do not take heed, we do not consider this paradigm shift important, then, of course, in a very near future, the possibility is that there will be fights for resources. Now we are at a very, very important crossroad, you might say. Whether we are awakened to think seriously about ourselves and about our future, about our children and grandchildren and other people, or just we will stay in our present-minded, in our narrow, self-interested way of thinking.